walking into a room and I give you a drum, you're probably not going to do anything with it. But if you imagine 100 people in a room all drumming at the same time, imagine how awesome that must sound. All these different beats, the conductor can essentially break up the audience and play you all different tunes. You're given different conducting skills and all sorts of stuff. It's brilliant fun to do. And what you can see, we focus on high levels of interaction at our events, probably more so than what other people do. And the reason why we get them to do this is because, So the reason why we're getting them to do this is because these are the key people of the future. These are the young career researchers of the future. So how's it we get them to act? Well, we have to teach them negotiating skills. We want them to realise that although one might be a marine biologist, they can actually work with someone working in energy policy. They can work with someone focusing on social behavioural change and wants to change fishing habits, for example. They're at the pinnacles of their young careers, so we want to interact with them. So how is it we get them to act? Well, we have to give them belief. You have to have belief yourselves that you will do your bit, and members of your team will also do their bit. There's no point just you doing it and burning out, realising no one's going to come along and help you. We also stress the fact that they can learn from failure. Failure isn't something you should all be scared of. It's an opportunity to learn. Okay, people who win on time, it's fantastic getting something done, but if you come second, why didn't you come first? You know, you can learn from that. That's something that no one should really be afraid of. So we're teaching these skills throughout the week, and also the fact that they get to learn from each other. And one of the things we try to get them to think about a bit more, and we do this with other events we do, which is more kind of key academics and some industry coming along as well. We ask them, okay, well, you've all got some similar issues here, you've all got different backgrounds. How can you work together? How can you come up with an idea or a potential solution? Spread the work out low between you. But we don't want them to say, okay, what information do you want to know? But how do you want this information? Now, this is key for negotiating. If you want to express something to someone, just giving them stats and numbers isn't really going to do it. You've got to think of who your target audience is. And this is what we try to get them to think with who they're negotiating with. Especially in the NG Islands exercise, when they've got one country versus another country, one person wants a certain thing. For example, the China country had a high manufacturing industry, but didn't have the skills to reduce its emissions. So, cunningly, although we just wanted them to reduce their emissions, the students went a little bit further than that and actually managed to get someone to sign a clause saying they're going to bring over all their academics actually teach them so they can learn how to do technology themselves and actually save themselves money in the future. So, why is it we get them to do this? Well, as I said, these students are at the beginning of their careers. Okay, they're the people who are going to have to live with climate change the rest of their lives, as all are we. But these are the people who've got a real opportunity to make a difference. We have lots of senior members in UKERC who are members of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and also feed up directly to the Climate Change Committee in the UK as well. And some of them did start out by doing PhDs from UKERC, which is what roughly half the people at our summits can do. So we teach them the fact that you can learn with others, you can work with others, and you should do this for the rest of your entire career. Not just think, okay, I'm a social scientist, I'm just going to do the social science route. But you have the opportunity to interact with policymakers and to network with policymakers. So we really try to focus on the issue that we want to be open-minded, not just think about the particular research area, and to realise that sustainable development has a role to play in every single aspect of their daily lives and their professional lives. Thank you.
Next we have Abby from UnLtd.
Yeah, sure. Shall I stand up? Does that help? I'm talking not really from a climate change perspective, because that's not my background, but from a youth engagement perspective. And welcome to UnLtd, actually. We're really happy to host you this evening. So, just a little bit about how I came to be here. I actually got funding from UnLtd about 5 years ago to run a youth project in Bournemouth. And ran that for about a year, and it went really well, but I needed to get a job because I was a student at the time. And so I applied for a job at UnLtd and was successful, so I've been here for the last 4 years working on the youth programmes here. And I'm really passionate to believe that young people are the best placed in our society to help to solve the issues for other young people. I'm not saying all of society's issues, I wouldn't want to kind of give them responsibility for that. But I really think that young people have as much place in society as anybody else to create solutions at grassroots level. So we at UnLtd, which is my team, give cash and support to 11 to 21-year-olds to solve local issues. So if they can identify a problem, come to us with a solution that they've come up with, they can apply for up to £5,000. We'll put the money in their bank account, really scary proposition, and then we support them for a year to do that. So we're looking for sustainable solutions, which basically means we'll ask them, so what's your idea? If we give you this cash, how are you going to keep that going beyond the lifetime of the funding? And we just did a project evaluation really recently of a bunch of young people that we funded, and we found that about 1 in 10 of them were doing environmental or recycling projects. So, I mean, more common issues that would be tackled are community cohesion and empowering young and disadvantaged people. So I would say we don't get a huge amount of climate change and sustainability project applications from young people. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Why, at some point when we kind of go into discussion. But I think climate change, when you talk about it, is a massive issue, and we need to break it down into something quite tangible on a local level that young people feel that they can take control of and do. So I think I'm aware of the language that we have to talk about when we work with young people, to not scare them about this huge and scary topic that we're all talking about tonight. And just to give a couple of examples of projects that we have funded around this issue, and some of you may have heard of these. So Kelvin runs a project called Food Cycle. Has anyone heard of that? Yeah, got some nods. So he was one of my award winners a couple of years ago. We gave him £5 grand to run a pilot project out of LSE, I think it was. And they use food that would be going to waste. They use student volunteers who then collect the food, cook it up into nutritious meals, and deliver it to people in the community who are at need. So it could be asylum seekers or refugees, people on benefits that are really struggling to afford the basics. So after the funding from us, he's gone from strength to strength. He got a few really big funders. Is now developing a model of how he can bring in income through selling services to keep the food cycle process going. And I think, I don't know how many sites he's in now, but it's quite a few. Another young lady I supported was Kira. Hers was quite a different idea. She got, I think it was £5,000, and actually built her own yurt. And then she used the yurt as a space where she ran workshops for young people. They were based in Rotherham, and apparently, I don't know Rotherham that well, but this was quite an unusual project for Rotherham. So they got groups of local young people, schools, youth clubs, and ran workshops around sustainability in the yurt to try and build up education around how to live more sustainably in these communities.
What?
A yurt, a Mongolian yurt. So it's a structure that's made out of lots of bits of wood with a big canvas that sits over the top.
Like a teepee.
Like a teepee, but with more of a rounded roof. And a big project that we funded, which some of you may know, is Hackney Grown Communities. So that's basically a weekly food box scheme, but rather than them delivering it to you, which is kind of adding on the food miles, then you go and pick it up from key collection points around the Hackney Borough, and I get my veg from there every week. It's a brilliant service, and they've been running that for years, and they're now replicating it in different towns and cities. So that hopefully gives you an idea of some of the projects we've backed. 2 of them are young people when they applied, but Hackney Grown Communities wasn't. But yeah, I think I'll stop there, but I'm welcome any questions around what we do, or kind of, social enterprise around this.